September 24th, 2018 is now in session. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the invocation. Dear God, thank you for the many blessings we enjoy. We continue to pray for those suffering across our nation. Bless the efforts of all providing aid to those in need of food, clothing, and shelter. Continue to keep our community safe and guard those who protect us. Direct us with dedication and commitment as we consider the matters before us. In your holy name, amen.
I also like a moment of silence in remembrance of Annette Morgan, who was a citizen of Hammond for a number of years and passed away. Thank you.
Clerk Golick, roll call vote, please.
Markovich.
Here.
Spitali.
Here.
Kalwinski.
Here.
Torres.
Here.
Higgs.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Warple.
Here.
Rakels.
Here.
Venez.
Here, let the record reflect 9 present, 0 absent. Alrighty. For the record, the Hammond City Council met on Wednesday, September 19th at 5:30 p.m. in executive session to discuss city council personnel. Thank you. Reading of the minutes.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
make a motion to accept the minutes from September 10, 2018.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Spitali, second by Councilman Emerson, to approve the minutes of September 10th. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to approval of claims.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
move for approval of claims September 5th, 2018 through September 19th, 2018. For council meeting September 24, 2018, beginning with claims dated 9/18/18 and ending with claims dated 9/19/18. Claim number 5383 through claim number 5686 for a total of $4,206,616.52. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Higgs, to approve the claims from September 5th through September 19th, 2018. Any discussion?
Madam Chair Lady, one addition. Claim number 5686, $100 donation to the Hammond Fire Department for Councilwoman Venez for Fireman's Day on October 6th, I believe it is. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Higgs, for approval of claim number 5686 in the amount of $100. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
I have 5686 as Mike Albert Leasing. I'm sorry, that might be wrong. Yeah, 5686.
Mike Albert Leasing. Rainy Day Fund, $99,819.
My error. It should be 5687.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Emerson.
Thank you.
So motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Higgs for approval of claim number 5687 in the amount of $100. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call vote, please, on the amendment.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Venez.
Yes. Amendment passes 9 in favor, 0 opposed. Now for claims as written. Clerk Golick?
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. Claims pass, 9 in favor, 0 opposed. All right. Moving on to public hearings, there are none. Communications.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Higgs.
I received the correspondence from the International Association of Mechanics and Astronaut Workers on September 18, 2018. It's part of my district. To whom it may concern, I'm a resident of the Kenwood neighborhood, 6300 block of Forest Avenue, Hammond, Indiana. All the residents who garbage doors open to State Line Road have a problem in the winter in the snowplow trucks that, according to the drivers, are forced to throw amounts of snow up against the garage doors and literally blocking us in some of the cases causing unnecessary damage to property. It also creates a big inconvenience when we are buried, our garages cans are deep that we cannot be seen and let alone used. The city of Hammond does not empty any of the cans that are buried. It also blocks people from opening their gates and to get access to the State Line Road, period. I do not understand why we should have even be going through any of these problems with the Calumet City Forest Preserve and only 30 feet away. Couldn't things be worked out in such a way that the Forest Avenue residents could be spared the trouble of clearing all the snow that the plows throw and the damage it causes? I have included pictures of the snow and how tall it gets along with the damage that it has done to my personal garage door. I think that as one of the highest tax-paying residents in Hammond, we should get better service. Please try to resolve this situation before we all have to go through another winter of backbiting, snow removal by hands. Thank you in advance for the time and convenience. Sean E. Gamaz, maintenance planner, and he lives on 4th Street. I have pictures of all the garages that were damaged in the snow as well on Forest, which is just adjacent to State Line. I did personally send a letter to the mayor of the great city of Calumet City, as well as the Public Works Department. I'm going to CC this letter and make a motion that this letter be submitted to the mayor's office so he can address this as well. I so move.
Motion by Councilman Higgs. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Torres to have the letter he received sent to, you did correspond with the mayor of Calumet City?
Right.
Okay,
I
we
want
want
these
this to go
pictures.
to Hammond.
The mayor.
Mayor.
Clerk Golick, here's a copy as well for you. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Any other communications?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Higgs.
congratulations to the city of Hammond and the mayor for the opening of the sports complex that will be happening on this Thursday. I will be in attendance, and I look forward to seeing the great activities that will be held in our city due to the fact of the new sports complex being built in my district. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Any other communications? Any other communications? Any other communications? Communications are now closed. Moving on to committee reports. Councilman Emerson?
Madam President,
Okay, Councilman Warple?
was it Bill, was it you? Council as a whole supporting out 1816, right?
All righty, thank you very much. Okay, and as I usually do at the council meetings, I will read the upcoming Community and Crime Watch meetings. Coming up on Tuesday, September 25th, the Pulaski Park Neighborhood Association will meet at the American Legion on Goslin beginning at 6:30 p.m. The South Holman Avenue Neighborhood Watch, formerly the Indy Illy Crime Watch, will meet Thursday, September 27th at, I've got that wrong on here, at Trinity Lutheran Church on the corner of 173rd and Holman. That will begin at 6:30 p.m. Also, I wanted to announce that Edison Community Watch, the Eastside Community, and the Eastside Community Council, in partnership with Home Depot, will once again host our 7th annual Trunk or Treat. It will be Saturday, October 27th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Home Depot. Bring the kids, bring the family. It's always a fun event. If anyone is a member of an organization, this is an excellent opportunity for you to pass out candy to the children and also advertise your organization. So that is Saturday, October 27th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Home Depot. Please come out, because community is not just about me, it's about us. Committee reports is now closed. Moving on to ordinance, third and final passage. Clerk Golick?
Ordinance 18-16, sponsored by Councilman Emerson and Councilman Kalwinski. An ordinance amending Ordinance 8108, known as Section 33.03 of the Hammond Municipal Code, as it pertains to EMTs and paramedics.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Emerson.
I move for third and final passage of 18-16.
Second.
Second, motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Kalwinski for final passage of ordinance number 1816. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
this ordinance basically amends the previous ordinance, taking away a specific number of people at events in a building, and focuses on the type of activity that is going on. And if a question exists to the nature of the event, final determination shall be made by the Park Board of Commissioners.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Councilman Higgs.
I would like to have Phil Talon step to the podium and explain the importance of this particular ordinance.
Council, good
evening,
evening.
Phil.
Good evening. As Councilman Emerson stated, this is pretty simple as far as an amendment to a current ordinance that was created a long time ago after there was an incident from a kickboxing tournament in which unfortunately there was a fatality. At the time, it was decided that if there is an event in the city on any city property, that 2 EMT personnel would be required for any event that has 100 people or more. Well, in a lot of situations, it really didn't make a lot of sense, because if you have a Pampered Woman show at the Gene Shepherd Center, or you have chess club, or you have a Little League event, we basically were requiring that 2 EMT be on site. What we found over the years, especially as we get closer, as Councilman Higgs said, our sports complex is opening on Thursday, and I know Mark Heinz, our Director of Parks, was here earlier discussing this. What we found is that certain events are bypassing the city of Hammond and going to other communities because they did not have that requirement. And if they thought it was important for them to have EMT personnel or police personnel, they would make sure they did so, but they were going to different communities so that they weren't mandated to do so. What this does, it still addresses the real issue, which is if you do have full contact sport activity, boxing, kickboxing, martial arts, also the circus, because, you know, with animals, you never know, sometimes there could be issues. And I think any type of vehicle situation, then we do still mandate that they have EMT on site. However, for the less evasive type sports, soccer, basketball, chess, whatever it may be, they are not mandated to have the EMT. I do want to bring up, though, that the sports complex does have a budget specifically set aside for police and fire personnel so that if there is an event or a tournament where it makes sense for us to have folks on site to lessen our risk or liability because of that specific event, we will still do so. And the budget is pretty significant. So I feel like this kind of meets the best of both worlds because we love our fire department, we love what they do, we love what the EMT does. We use them all the time. If anybody was at the concerts this weekend, you saw them walking around. If you were at Festival Lake, you see them Festival Lakes, you see them walking around. But this basically stops where we basically were putting a law in place that didn't make a lot of sense in a lot of situations.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Hicks.
Theo, what year was the original ordinance that we are amending tonight? Was it originally drafted?
I don't have it in front of me, but I want to say it was sorry? 1990 is what Councilman Kowinski is saying.
1998 is what it says here.
So about 20 years ago.
Madam President.
Yes, Councilman.
Phil, when those special decisions are made, what are the parameters used to figure that out?
I think it really comes down to the fact of, with this specific event, what type of risk is there? And I would say, I guess risk could be looked at different ways. If you're playing soccer, you could sprain an ankle, obviously. But a sprained ankle, typically you're not going to have call an ambulance and be transported to a hospital. You're typically going to put some ice on it and let it heal, maybe go see the doctor the next day. So I think it's really, the best way of putting it is that you're going to look at each individual event and activity and say what kind of risk is there that potentially you would need an ambulance if worst case scenario occurs. As I mentioned in the caucus or council as a whole, my son has been playing soccer since he's 5 years old. He's 18 now. So in those 13 years, I've never seen one time an ambulance show up at any soccer facility or soccer event. The way it's written currently, we were asking folks if you have a Little League game, you're supposed to have 2 EMTs on site. The new hockey complex that's going to be under construction here in the next 5 weeks, the way it's written, you'd have to have 2 EMT on site for every single event that was going on at the hockey complex. It just doesn't make sense in those situations. I think it does make sense when you have a boxing event, for example, at the Civic Center. We have the police versus the fire, even a charity event, because in those situations, you could have contact that could cause a concussion or somebody can go unconscious. And it makes sense to have somebody on staff that needs immediate treatment.
So in this special instances not laid out in the ordinance, then the park board decides whether to put EMTs or police there? Is that what you're telling us?
That would be correct. And to me, that makes a lot more sense than every single event that comes in through the city come to the council.
Phil, if you could please,
Councilman Hicks.
thanks, Councilwoman Benes. If you could identify those particular events for the council and the public, general public.
Where they will be mandated to have EMTs?
Yes.
The ones that are listed in the amended ordinance are kickboxing, martial arts, boxing, any type of vehicular event, and the circus. But that doesn't mean if there's some event that comes up that would fit really well into mandating EMTs, that's where I believe the park board will step up and say, this event makes sense, there could be an issue, let's make sure we have EMTs on site.
So, Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Morpole.
theoretically, if somebody was to have a wedding at the Civic Center, they needed EMTs there the way the current ordinance was written, right?
Correct.
Same thing with the Shepherd Center?
Correct. Any city property where there's an event of 100 people or more, according to the ordinance, they are mandated to have 2 EMTs on site. And I think what you're going to, what you might think is There's been events where there haven't been there. Technically, they would be breaking the law in that situation. And I know Mark Heinz brought up when he was in there, just recently as August, we lost a basketball camp that was looking at Hammond, and because it was mandating EMTs, which, you know, the cost is what it is. I don't know off the top of my head, but let's just say it might be $500-600. They end up choosing going to a complex in Gary instead because they did not have to pay that fee. So those types of events where they're working with a shoestring budget, you know, they're not there necessarily to make a ton of money, but to really host an event and add value to whatever organization they belong to. That's where you really cause Hammond to
Well, I
lose
guess what I'm
opportunities.
getting at is, it's not like we're giving the park board the right to write the ordinance. It's basically the park board has a right to make a stipulation as far as issuing the permit or the contract that, oh, by the way, you need EMTs at this event, correct?
Correct.
Any other discussion? Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call vote, please.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Kalwinski. Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. 1816 passes, 9 in favor, 0 opposed. Moving on to introduction of ordinances.
Item A, ordinance 18-18, sponsored by Councilman Higgs. An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Hammond to permit the use of district casino money to be used to remove dangerous trees from property owned by the city.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
I move ordinance 1818 on first and second reading by title and refer to council as a whole with a meeting scheduled for our next council meeting, October 1st, 2019. I so move.
And the time?
You can schedule the time, Councilwoman Vines, as president.
All righty. Well, we'll try for 5 o'clock and see how many people show up for that. Okay. A motion by Councilman Higgs for first and second reading of 1818 and refer to council as a whole with a meeting on October 1st at 5 p.m. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Spitali. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Councilman.
the purpose of this particular ordinance is that, particularly in my district, when I'm out there, there are a number of trees that are actually not being cut down, and there's a certain amount of money that's designated for tree removal. And if we should run out of money, because money is allocated to each district councilman, we could utilize that in emergency situations to remove the trees. So this happens quite frequently throughout my district, and certainly I don't want anyone to be endangered by trees that are sitting over their property, or vacant lots that are owned by redevelopment, or the city of Hammond. So if the funds run out, we can use them extradistrictly in terms of addressing the concerns of the citizens of our great city. That's the purpose of the ordinance.
All righty. Thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Chairman?
Yes, Councilman.
Yeah, I agreed with Councilman Higgs, because I have a few areas in my district where I have asked for trees to be removed, and for some reason they're not removed, and I think it's because of lack of money. Even though we have an allotted fund through the Park Department for this could supplement that fund in case it is needed.
All righty. Any other discussion?
Also, Madam
Councilman
President,
Higgs.
just like, of course, there's a redevelopment project taking place in my district at MLK Park, But certainly, Harrison Park has been an issue with trees as well over the years, and I've been working extremely hard with Mark, just trying to get a new pavilion built. Unfortunately, we have other projects going on in conjunction with the efforts of the mayor, which I congratulate, and I applaud his efforts. Although I may live particularly in the area where the park is being done, every park is important throughout the entire district, and certainly Harrison Park is in desperate need of repairs. So I would hope that in the coming year, we can do something in regards to addressing some of the concerns in Harrison Park as well.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to resolutions, there are none. New and unfinished business.
Madam President,
Councilman Higgs.
during caucus, we had discussion in regards to the property at 936 Conkey Street, in which I recently honored Ms. Pearline Jenkins, who was a fighter in the community and stood for injustice and fought for justice for all the citizens of the great city. She served as president of the Hammond chapter of the NAACP for a number of years, as well as a member of Mount Zion Church. Due to her passing, the property became vacant, and I was fortunate enough to get her artifacts out of the property and submit them to the church. However, the gentleman that purchased the property seems to act as though, for some reason, it's being overlooked and he's not being given an opportunity to actually have the property rehab. Well, the director from Code Enforcement came and addressed the council in caucus and basically told us that that's not true. So again, I don't have a dog in the show. I'm basically standing up for what's right, and I'm not taking sides in regards of addressing it. But what was discussed is that the fact that he has addressed this issue with the code enforcement inspector at the head of the department in terms of addressing the concerns of the property and the deplorable condition in which it is existing in the property and the repairs that are needed to bring it up to code. However, if you do not, I repeat, if you do not fix the property and make it into livable conditions, unfortunately, you cannot keep the property. Prior to this, I had personally put this, as well as a number of homes within my district, on the list for demolition because the property sat vacant for a number of years and no one wants to look at an eyesore in their community, especially when you got $120,000 homes sitting just adjacent to this property. So I would hope that the gentleman, and I will reach out to him to schedule a meeting with me, him, and the code enforcement inspector to address any of his additional concerns as it relates to this particular property at 936 Conkey. Hopefully they will be able to resolve this issue, and if not, the property will probably be condemned. Unfortunately, the citizens of the great city are more than welcome to address the council and the council at large and speak in regards to this property, because Ms. Pearline was a pioneer in the community, and if they can come up with some general ideas in regards to rehabbing the property or fixing the property or making it livable, they're more than welcome to do so. So, in saying that, I just wanted to make it perfectly clear that the code inspector came before the council and addressed the concerns and the repairs that are needed to keep this property in the 3rd district of our great city. Thank God I was able to name the street after Ms. Pearline because she was a fighter.
Any other new and unfinished
Madam President.
business? Yes, Councilman
I'd
Rakos.
like to make the motion that we change our October 9 meeting to October 1st, and October 22nd meeting to October 15th. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Rakos, second by Councilman Higgs, to change our 10-9 council meeting to October 1st and the October 22nd council meeting to October 15th. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Higgs. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
I just want to make the residents of the 5th District aware, because I have gotten some calls about this, but currently under the gaming ordinance, where it says what we can spend money on, I think it's item E, trees. I've given $100,000 in the 5th District to cut the trees away from the lights and to cut the low-hanging branches across the streets. And I know a lot of residents have come out when the tree guys are out there and asked if they can go completely around the trees in their yard. And I just want to clarify that because this program, this tree account is run through the park department, that we can cut stuff that is hanging over our sidewalks, our streets, and our lights, but we can't go completely around the trees in the yards, because I've been questioned on that while this tree program's been going on.
Because that extends into private property?
Correct.
Okay.
But if it's hanging over our right-of-ways or in front of our stop signs or over our lights, we can cut it back away if it's on private property.
Terrific. Thank you. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Torres.
like a letter sent to the Sewer Department, Director Jack Smith, there's some kind of sewer problem on the southbound lane of Columbia Avenue, the 5400 block, right across Columbia Park. And it's tying up traffic pretty good, clogging it up. It's been going on for about 2 months. And if he can give the residents a time frame as to when the repairs are going to be complete, whatever they're repairing. It is a sewer problem, I understand.
All righty. Motion by Councilman Torres to have a letter sent to Jack Smith in the Sewer Department regarding a sewer issue on the 5400 block of Columbia, the southbound lane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Higgs. Any discussion?
Madam Chair Lady,
Councilman.
I am aware of that area there, and talking to the superintendent, and probably Dean Button knows, being on the sanitary board, that at that intersection, there are several sewer lines that are crisscrossing there, and right now they have a cave-in. You can see a low spot where it's blocked off with those parking things there. And right now, the problem is funding, whether they can find the money, because it's an emergency-type situation. And it's not just that one area there, because everything intersects there at Columbia, and I believe it's Michigan Avenue, not Michigan, but Summer Street. Whatever it is, Michigan and Columbia. So there is an issue there that's not just the one, but it's a tie-in of crisscross sections coming from the north, south, east, and west. So all of them sewers, and they're going out for bids right now to get that taken care of. I would suggest, and I agree with you, going south on that Columbia Avenue, that gets backed up during the day at rush hour, and maybe 5 or 6 cars go through, and I don't know if that's timed. I mean, I've sat there myself and waited for 3 lights, and maybe if they can extend that going southbound to maybe a minute, set the timer on that, and the east-west traffic maybe can be shortened. Right now, it's a lot of traffic going in there. But the traffic on Michigan, it is Michigan, correct, Dean? They're leaving Calumet Avenue because of the backup on the overpass there. So if they can set the timers to allow more traffic to go south, it's no problem going north. It's just going south and it gets backed up, because I've timed it. It's maybe 15, 20 seconds only for that green light, and only 5 or 6 cars can get through. So that's giving you the background on what's happening there. So if you want to rescind your letter, it's up to you. But you're sending it to Jack Smith, who's the foreman, but it probably should be addressed to the sanitary district in that respect. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just giving you the background on all that.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Torres.
I can add the sanitary district to that letter.
All righty.
And if it's funding and if something I can help with, we got a little money left in the gaming, maybe I can help. So I need to know about it, if it is a funding issue or whatever the issue is. But that's been going on for 2 months, and truth is, I very seldom see anybody working on it. It just blocked, and it is causing the problem that Councilman Markovich says it is. So add to the letter, if you may, Clerk, if there is
President?
funding that I can help with, I'll gladly help.
Councilman Mark.
I know one figure is 150,000, so they're getting bids. So if you got extra 150,000 you want to throw in, but everybody's well aware that the present gaming ordinance, when they do new streets, that 10% of that money is supposed to go for new sewers and so forth and all of that. But, you know, it's up to them and what they're going to do about it.
All righty, so there was a motion by Councilman Torres. Was there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Higgs to have a letter sent to Jack Smith at the Sewer Department and also the Sanitary District regarding the southbound lanes on Columbia Avenue in the 5400 block. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Councilman Higgs.
Hammond Sports Complex for immediate release, Kimberly Roberts, contact title Assistant General Manager of Volleyball and Basketball. Contact number is 219-853-7666. Hammond Sports Complex to host Men's Basketball League. September 20th, 2018, the Hammond Sports Complex is hosting the Men's 40 and Up Basketball League on and from October 8th through December 10th. There will be a 10-game plus a tournament. Registration will take place at the Hammond Sports Complex, 6630 Indianapolis Boulevard, Monday through Friday from 8 until 10 p.m. in the main office. The registration fee is $700. Come by and meet the staff and tour our new facility.
Thank you. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President.
Councilman Emerson.
I would just like to tell the councilman that I do not have an extra 160,000 this time of year, but I wish I did. But anyway, I wanted to compliment engineering, who in turn talked to the striping people. We overlaid part of 173rd this year, and a couple residents called with a complaint about the crosswalks on Van Buren and 173rd not being done. And through a call through engineering, I noticed today that they were done, so people can walk between the crosswalks, and the whole project is complete. Thank you.
Don't you love it when it works? All righty. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Councilman Higgs.
for immediate release, Kimberly Roberts, Assistant General Manager, Hammond Complex to host the Men's Basketball Fall League. In September 20th, 2018, the Hammond Sports Complex is hosting a Men's Fall Basketball League in October 8th to December 10th, Monday nights from 6 to 9 p.m. There is a 10-game plus a tournament. Registration will take place at the Hammond Complex, 6630 Indianapolis Boulevard, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the main office. The registration fee is $600. Come by and meet the staff and tour our new facility.
Thank you. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
as we all know, all our district councilmen has an appointee on the casino funding for the 501c3 organizations that receive funding throughout the year. However, I have not had a representative that sit to represent my district in quite some time. So I am requesting a letter be sent to the mayor's office so I can appoint someone to represent my district in regards to the allocation of the casino funds. And each district councilman, as well as the three largest, are supposed to be sitting on this committee. But for some reason or another, I don't think that's been happening. So I make a motion that we just send a letter to the mayor's office so I can get an appointee appointed from my district. I so move.
Motion by Councilman Higgs to have a letter sent to the mayor's office requesting an appointee from the 3rd District on the Mayor's Gaming Grant Committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Torres. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President.
Are you going to read all of those?
Madam President.
Councilman Higgs.
Thank you so much for being so clear as to what I'm doing. If you concentrate on working to make the area and the district better instead of worried about what I'm doing, maybe we can work together and get some things accomplished.
Well, thank you, Councilman Higgs.
Hammond
Will you
Fire
please
Department
continue?
celebrates the Fire Prevention Open House, Saturday, October 6, 2018, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Fire Station 8, 6350 Paris Avenue, Hammond, Indiana, 46323. There's a tour of the fire station, bouncy house for the children, raffle for free smoke detectors, raffle for LCD, flat screen HD TV, raffle for gift certificates for area businesses, 50-50 raffle, personalized Hammond Fire helmets for kids, educational materials themed, look, listen, learn, be aware, fire can happen anywhere, clothing, activities, books, hot dogs, chips, and pop.
Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Councilman Higgs.
again, I would like to thank the mayor in regards to, I see the park is starting to be redeveloped here in my district, and I want to certainly thank him for his efforts in working together to get this accomplished. So I look forward to seeing the results of that, and I plan to schedule a meeting shortly with the superintendent of parks in regards to any additional things that can be added in remembrance of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Any other new and unfinished business? Any other new and unfinished business? I would like to announce that the city of Hammond is again taking applications for Hammers for Hearts. The last day that the applications will be taken is October 5th. This is for any senior, disabled, or low-income families who are looking for some work to be done on their homes, such as painting, stair repairs, things of that nature. A faith-based group will be here next year in June, and they will help out people who apply and qualify for Hammers for Hearts. So you can contact Awana Miller at 853-6397, and that is option number 2 by October 5th. Also, the 32nd Annual Volunteer Awards Breakfast is coming up on November 1st. The Department of Planning and Development is taking applications for individuals or organizations that you might think deserves to be acknowledged as a volunteer here in the city of Hammond. So once again, you can contact Awana Miller. Her number is 853-6397, option number 2, to submit those applications. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Councilman Higgs.
I want to certainly thank the Board of Directors of the Mount Zion Pleasant View Plaza, as well as the Community Affairs Coordinator and the Director of the great facility named after Dr. A.R. Burns. Recently, they had a 35th anniversary of the complex, and I was able to present Ms. Burns with a dozen of roses, as well as a plaque from her councilman in regards to all the hard work and contributions that they contributed to our great city. Without Ms. Burns, Ms. Perling, and Reverend Burns, the facility wouldn't even been built. So certainly, and a number of other people, of course, were part of it, but we appreciate their efforts, and certainly if there's anything I can do in regards to the complex, certainly I'm here and willing to do such. And I really, really, really want to congratulate Ms. Burns for all her hard work and her efforts.
Any other new and unfinished business? Any other new and unfinished business? Any other new and unfinished business? Councilman Emerson, would you like to make that announcement?
Yes, Madam President. Hammond celebrates its 5th annual Veterans Appreciation Day Parade, Saturday, November 10th at 10 a.m. In Hammond's 5th and 6th districts. The parade route travels from Olcott Avenue down 173rd Street to Hessville Park at the Veterans Memorial. Need a start time.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Thank you, Madam President. It's great if you know a veteran, and if you're not a veteran and just want to watch the parade, feel free to do so. It's a good way to honor those who have served.
Thank you. Any other new and unfinished business? Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Councilman Higgs.
the Hammond Sports Complex to host a 4-on-4 volleyball tournament is going to be held on September 21st, 2018. The Hammond Sports Complex is hosting a 4x4 volleyball tournament on November 24, 2018, beginning at 11 a.m. There will be a 112-team limit. Each team gets a maximum of 5-player roster, co-ed maximum of 2 women. There will be a 4-division men's elite, women's recorded, co-ed, and women's elite prizes to be announced. Registration will be taking place at the Hammond Sports Complex, 6630 Indianapolis Boulevard, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. in the main office. The registration team fee is $120. Each team must register and pay by November 2nd, 2018. Come by and meet the staff and tour the new facility.
Thank you. Any other new and unfinished business? Any other new and unfinished business? Just an announcement this Saturday, which is the 29th from 9 to 11 a.m. If anyone is interested, the department heads' budget hearings will be held right here in the council chambers. It's always interesting. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Councilman Higgs.
seeing that we have so many children here in our audience, I just want to remind them that I'm not on the school board, I am the city councilman, but for your benefit, I did try to implement a program which is called Safari Brainware. It's a tutoring program that actually was lasted for about a year, and we were trying to get funding through the school city of Hammond. And however, there are individuals that are running for school board this term, and some of them were sitting there previously, and there are people that are running currently. And I would hope that they are interested in the children and not themselves. And you are important to not just me, but the entire city. So Safari Brainware is a wonderful program, and it's about implementing programs that can help your cognitive skills as well as your physical and mental skills. So the first year was funded by a private donor, and we went before the school board to try to get it in all the schools, and for whatever reason, they refused to implement it. But it's election year, and let's see what's happening. So.
Any other new and unfinished business? Any other new and unfinished business? New and unfinished business is now closed. Public expression. The first speaker of the evening is Demetrius Munsell? Welcome. If you would please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Demetrius McNeil. I live on 940 Becker Street. I go to Hammond High, and I'm in 9th grade. And my question is about the orange fences around the trees. Why are they there for? I mean,
Could you please repeat yourself and lower the microphone and speak into it, please?
you said what?
Lower the microphone and repeat your question, because we can't hear you.
I said I was wondering what the orange fences was around the trees at MLK Park.
Still can't understand you, sir.
Orange fences around the trees in MLK Park.
Madam President? Can I talk, or?
No, wait.
We'll go back.
Okay.
Okay. All righty, thank you, sir. We will return to new and unfinished business to answer your question. Thank you.
Madam President,
This is public
Public
expression.
expression.
The next speaker is George Stoya.
Wow. It's almost put to sleep there by Councilman Higgs droning on and on and on and on. Is there any remedy to this? Because obviously he's grandstanding. I don't know why anybody here doesn't speak up about it. Mr. President, I mean, give me a break. You can just run through it and just say it all at one time and stop disrupting the continuity of this meeting. Anyway, that's not what I came up here for. Just that I have to recover and get my consciousness back after being lulled with this heavy-duty funk he dropped on us all. Anyway, I find it somewhat, I'm a little leery of the, I guess it's still pending, ordinance concerning the factual determination of what a risk is when using the sports complex and its effect, and will it be recognized by any court of law should the city be sued? Because if we weren't self-insured and we were insured by a third party, well, it would just be a cost of doing business. But this idea of unilaterally determining what is a good risk and what's a bad risk has to square with what a court would recognize as a reasonable risk in the absence of a statute or anything else. And what I'm leery about is I didn't hear anyone cite any external authority or list or reference by which Phil and the council and I guess Kevin Smith came to a determination of the scope of risk that would be undertaken by either the city council, the ordinance, and or in case of ambiguities or breaking a tie, it would go to the park board. So I'm just a little leery about, yeah, it sounds real good that you can just sit here and, unilaterally determine what's risk-free and what's not, but I don't know if it will be affirmed, should something happen, and let's be frank, everything's contingent. Ostensibly, nothing happens at some of these gatherings, but a soccer game, a basketball game, this involves a lot of physicality, a lot of physical exertion, and anything can happen, either on the playing court or in the stands. So I'm just a little leery. It's not a criticism. It's just, just because you say it so, don't make it so. And you got to pass more muster than, the city council said we could do it. The ordinance says we can do it. Yeah, well, when it's challenged and you're challenged, then all bets are off.
Thank you, George. Public expression is now closed.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
go back to new and unfinished business. I so move.
second.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Higgs to return to the regular order of business. Do I do a roll call on that?
Yeah.
No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Madam President,
Aren't you opposed?
Oh, I thought it was Councilman Markovich who wanted it. Councilman Higgs.
just for clarification, there's no need for me to grandstand, sir. You're out of order.
Councilman,
Madam President.
please do not debate.
I'm not debating, I'm speaking to the issue.
Uh,
Point of order.
Councilman,
Point of order. Madam President,
yes.
I can take the fact that you may not like me, but I'm going to do my job. The reality of it is I'm addressing the concerns so that the citizens that are not here that may be watching will be aware of it. And I don't need the political attacks nor the criticism of someone that doesn't even live in my district and give a
Okay, all right,
wits about me.
gentlemen. Okay. Yes, Councilman Emerson.
Madam President, to address the young man's question, I believe the red X, don't hold me to this, is the tree is coming down eventually. That's usually what they mean in other parks, although Dean is shaking his head.
He's asking about the orange fence around the trees. It's a tree protection.
Oh, okay,
Madam
I
President.
apologize.
All righty, so we answered that.
Madam
Is there a
President.
motion to return to the regular order of business?
I so move.
Motion by Councilman Rakos, is there a second?
Madam
Second
President,
by
point of
Councilman
order.
Kalwinski.
Point of
There's
order.
a motion on the floor.
Point of order.
Motion by Councilman.
Point of
Rakos,
order.
second by Councilman.
Point of
Kalwinski.
order.
Councilman, you have not
Point
been
of order.
recognized. You are out of
Point
order.
of order. You are out of
You
order
are
because
out
you
of-
can't make a
Councilman,
motion.
There is a motion on the floor.
You can't make a motion.
I requested a motion.
You're out of order.
I am not. There's a motion by Councilman Rakos, second by Councilman Kalwinski to return to the regular order of business. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion that we adjourn from this meeting.
Motion by Councilman Higgs. Is there a second? Second. Second by Councilman Spitali. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Everyone have a good evening. Thank you, children, for coming this evening.